Good evening, everyone. I'll call this meeting of the membership of the Iowa Community Theater Association to order. This is the annual meeting of the ICTA membership for 2022. I'm your president of the board, Jason Paul, and I'm glad to see a mix of familiar and not familiar faces this evening. So welcome, everyone. We'll go ahead and get started. I'll share our agenda for this evening. We'll call to order. There has been a bit of an issue with last year's minutes, so those will be forthcoming after the meeting. We'll receive a financial report of the association from our treasurer, Gerard Schwigerath. I'll give a brief update on the state of the association, and currently our only item of business for the evening is election of directors for the board of directors this evening. As a reminder, in order to vote, one must either be a member of the association or representing a member theater. And if you have a question about your membership status or that of your theater, please, when we get to that point in the meeting, throw a flag and we will verify that information for you. Before we proceed, is there any additional new business from the floor to add to tonight's agenda? Seeing none, we'll proceed. That takes us into the financial report for the association. Gerard, the floor is yours, sir. Would you like me to share any documents for you?
It always helps when I take the mute off. It makes it much more interesting when I chat. Excuse me. So yes, if you would share the financials, either the balance sheet or the income statement, whichever you want to start with, I can go from there in either direction. We are in good financial standing. As you can see, we have total cash on hand of a little over 13,100. That's broken up into three different segments: the bout and savings, which are investments in liquid assets that we can readily pay any bout and grants that have come up; a memorial that has been set up in regard for Donna Smithson; and then the ICTA checking account, which is working capital cash, $4,139. We do have a couple receivables. These are in transit from PayPal, and that totals $75. We have Mountain investments of $30,500. These are T-bonds, currently earning 4% interest long-term. ICTA has also invested $9,000 in those T-bonds. Our per monthly return is $132, which at the current market is a very good rate of return that's very consistent. We have no outstanding liabilities other than the Mountain awards payable for $1,000, which we have over $8,000 in cash to be able to pay those. Our retained earnings, profits from all prior years, $15,376. Net cash for this year, $2,159.75. Our equity value is $34,140. Total retained earnings and is equal to the assets of $51,676.95. We are sitting in a very strong cash position. Our current standing, and this is a year-over-year comparison for equal periods, our individual memberships currently sit at 375 as compared to 395 last year, down $20. If you remember last year with COVID, we extended all memberships forward and also then allowed individuals to make a contribution if they chose to. Our theater memberships currently, cash in is $900 versus $250 last year. We have not had any donations this year. We had 90 last year. Interest on the money market, this is the cash sitting in the bank, is earning a whopping 65 cents in our 3-month period. Cash investments right now are not earning a premium. Investments in our interest T-bonds, $396, again, $132 per month, and that's guaranteed income. Net gross is $1,671.65. We have had one operating a couple operating expenses. The first is a negative Boughton Grant Award. What this is a Boughton Award that was set up, and the theater that was awarded then declined the award, and so it's being put back in. It's a negative expense. Our PayPal fees, $11.90. This is the fees that we incur for having the PayPal services and funds coming in through that. Our net profit for the period, if you want to scroll, there you go, $2,159.75. Last year, $1,031.95. Again, significant change from last year, but then we were deep in COVID. Definitely time for us to go out there and make sure that we have our theater and members renewing, and that we continue to promote what we can do and bring to the Iowa Community Theaters. This is a quick snapshot of the bank account, just showing that our balances on the financial statements and balances in the bank are in agreement. Outstanding Boughton Awards, we have $500 to Emmitsburg Main Street Community Theater. It's a 2019 award that does carry forward because we allowed all theaters to move a 1 year forward. This is for a choreography masterclass to be offered sometime yet to be announced. In 2021, we awarded $500 to Mount Vernon Lisbon Community Theater, and this is to update the lighting equipment they have. I'll be checking in with them in the next couple of months just to see how their plans are coming. Nicely, they are located just down the road from me. Profit and loss statement notes, again, negative Boughton Award, reverse of the Rich Heritage Cedar Rapids Award as it was forfeited. Memberships recognized this year, we recognized the income from our new theater members that was deferred from 2020. That was 4 theaters for $200. And 1 member paid membership for 2022 and 2021. So we had that carry forward. Questions about the financials?
You're doing a fantastic job, Gerard. I really appreciate everything that you do for us.
I am happy to do it. I wish I could find a better investment right now for the cash, but it's good where it's sitting right now. I am very happy, though, that we did not invest in any stocks.
Yeah.
Great. Any other questions for Gerard?
Is there a way that we can display, or maybe we do, and I just don't know how to do it, on our website, the current membership, so individuals or community theater groups can check to see if their dues are paid?
We do have that on our membership page. It's under the heading Membership Theaters. And it has not been updated as of this week because of the scramble for folks to get in there and pay their dues. So that'll be updated in the next couple of days.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions for Gerard? Seeing none, and entertain a motion to enter the financial statement into the permanent record of the association by approving the treasurer's report.
I so move.
I saw David's hand first. Helen, do you want the second?
I do.
Right,
Thanks.
we'll give Helen the second. Any discussion on the motion on the floor? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed by like sign. Abstentions.
Abstain.
The motion carries with 1 abstention. Thank you, Gerard. Moving on, I'll give a brief update on the state of the association. We have been working behind the scenes slowly Like many of you, we have been experiencing the ups and downs and ups and downs and ups and downs of the pandemic over the course of the last 2+ years. And that has made life difficult for all of us, both individuals and member theaters throughout the state. Some theaters have returned to performances, some have not. Some theaters have closed and liquidated. So we know that it's difficult. And as we emerge from the pandemic, one of the activities that we will be doing to bring some value to your membership, as well as to help build those relationships that help us all do better, will be to be hosting some regional events this year in our ICTA regions. We've broken the state up into 5 somewhat equal by number of member theaters areas of the state. And each of those regions will have specifically assigned board members who will host events, answer your questions, be your point of contact to be able to really know what's going on and feel well connected to our association. As you may have seen, we did end up canceling Convention 2022, again, due to the resurgence of the Omicron variant. And now I just saw today there's yet another one coming along. So we'll wait and see how that goes. But we do plan to return to an in-person event in 2023 with Festival 2023, which is an opportunity for our member theaters to compete. And we get to send 2 on to the regional competition of the American Association of Community Theaters annual or biennial theater festival. So look forward to that. I know that our events committee under the leadership of Cheryl Clark is already working on that item. So we hope to make it a big old bash in 2023 as we build relationships between now and then. The board continues to meet regularly, still by Zoom, on the second Saturday of the second month of each quarter. So that's February, May, August, and November. We have continued to process our Boughton grant applications as they've come in. We had a much lighter set of applications this year, likely owing to the continued pandemic. However, we anticipate receiving more applications next year as we continue to build a strong marketing function. Additionally, speaking of marketing, we now have a marketing chair. David Kilpatrick from the Des Moines Playhouse is currently working on one of our strategic initiatives to rebrand the Iowa Community Theater Association and refresh all of our visual elements, as well as make our website and other marketing collateral easier to use, easier to find, and way more friendly for our members. So watch for that as the year presses onwards. And finally, I'd like to thank those folks who have made the work of this association very, very strong over the last 3 years or 2 years of the pandemic. And I would be remiss if I did not thank each and every member of the ICTA Board of Directors who have continued to show up and do the work necessary to keep us functioning as an association while all of you are facing those difficult theatrical times. Sadly, or happily for them, I'd like to report that we have 3 members of the Board of Directors who will be departing, moving on to other things in their lives. That's Molly Ketchum from Boone. Molly's been on the board for a long time, and you may have seen Molly in the Des Moines Playhouse's radio theater group if you attend those performances. Sarah Keeley from up north will be leaving us after filling a partial term. And then Pam Ratliff, who's been on the board for a very long time from Newton, is also retiring from our board to spend more time with family and friends. So thank you all, board members of ICTA, for the continued work that you do to keep our association moving right along. even though what that looks like changes from meeting to meeting. And finally, thank you, each of you, individual members and member theaters of our association. We would not be who we are without you. So thank you. Thank you for continuing to do the work. Thank you for continuing to show up. And thank you for continuing to keep the lights on for theater in the state of Iowa. I know that once we come through the pandemic, whatever that looks like, theater will again be alive and thriving in the state of Iowa. So I look forward to seeing lots and lots of shows on the stage all across the state as we all continue to recover from what has been a very challenging 2 years. With that, I thank you, and we'll take any questions you may have.
Pat is mute.
Yep, I think she's off mute now.
Okay. I'm Angela Roddering with Webster City Community Theater, and I don't know if this is the time to ask, but Louine had asked me if you knew when the awards, they were going to be masks from the 2022, I'm sorry, yeah, 2020 season, when they would be handed out.
So those awards are still with our previous awards chair, John Olson.
Okay.
And when we reconvene as a board, he'll distribute those, and those will go out with board members to those theaters when we start having those regional events this year.
Okay, thank you.
You're
Is
welcome.
she still secretary?
I'm sorry?
Is Louine still secretary
Louine left the board.
of ICTA?
No, she left the board 2 years ago and retired last
Yeah,
fall
okay.
as our editor of Center Stage.
Okay, I know she wanted to be here tonight, but I think it's their dress rehearsal. So that's why she asked if I'd be here and ask the question. So thank you.
Thanks, Angela.
You're welcome.
Any
Are
other
there
questions?
Are there any dates for the regional sessions?
Not yet. Those are in development and will likely start this summer.
Thank you.
Good questions, folks. Any others? Okay, seeing none, we'll proceed on to the organizational business. We have no old business on the agenda this evening. Is there any old business from the floor? Seeing none, we'll proceed on to new business. This evening, our new business is the Board of Directors election. I will be, as I am a candidate for election, stepping back from the podium, and I will turn things over to Gerard, who will walk us through our board member elections. Gerard, I'll give you the floor, sir.
Thank you. So we have 5 seats up for election as of this point. As Jason had mentioned, Molly, Sarah, and Pam, and Jason and Tammy. Jason and Tammy are going to run again, so they are on the slate. In addition, we have Sherry Moser of McGregor. Sherry, do you want me to read your introduction, or would you like to say a few words? Completely up to you.
You don't have to read that whole thing.
I'm very happy to. So that again, Sherry is from McGregor, and
You want me to I'll summarize myself quick.
Okay.
Okay, I'm part of the Elkader Opera House Players in Elkader, Iowa, Northeast Iowa. I grew up in Northeast Iowa, and I started theater in 3rd grade in Annie and met my husband there. And so I have a long history and love of theater. I've directed and choreographed and acted and played piano for over 40 shows at the Opera House. Yeah, I'm just I'm a big theater dork, and I'm also a Iowa High School Speech Association judge and coach. I do marketing for our theater, and then I also do like graphic design, video work, and marketing. as my career. And yeah, I really appreciate this board. I think it's really neat way to bring all the Iowa theaters together and to celebrate theater in our state, and encourage people to do good work and let us share our passions.
Sherry, were you involved 2 or 3 years ago with the Mary Poppins production?
Yeah, I directed that.
Okay, I just want everybody on the board to know that the chimney sweep danced up the wall, across the top, and down the wall. How did you do that?
Well, that's how it's supposed to be done. So we hired a fly team, and they came in and did that. So.
Oh, it was absolutely amazing.
Oh,
Breathtaking. I commend you with that production. It was absolutely phenomenal.
Thank you.
Our second candidate is Sarah Brandt of Decorah. Sarah, would you like to say a few words, or I'm happy to read bio?
I can definitely say a few words. Yeah, thank you. It's great to be able to see everybody. And yeah, as Gerard said, my name is Sarah Brandt. I'm also a Northeast Iowa individual. I was born and raised in Decorah, Iowa. So I am with New Minowa Players Community Theater. I had always participated in a lot of musical ensembles, stage performances throughout my life. And I started participating with New Minowa sophomore year in high school. And at that point, I knew it was something I wanted to continue participating in for years and years to come. And I did. Ever since then, that was just kind of my second home. And I did, a lot of different things with them. I was stage manager, actor, on their board of directors as recording secretary for a time, helping with social media, production managing, anything I could do. It really helped enliven my love of theater because they were the accessible community theater in our area. It was wonderful to be a part of that. And so I ended up going to Luther College in Decorah and graduated with bachelor's in theater management.
Wow.
And so since I have really, kind of run a gamut of working in a lot of different fields, radio broadcasting and event management, doing some sales, hospitality, currently having just relocated now back to Decorah from Minneapolis. I was up in Minneapolis for about 5 years and have relocated, and I'm now working at Luther again, my alma mater, in the development office as stewardship and events coordinator. So it's really great to be back in Iowa, great to be back in Decorah with my home community theater, getting to bring a lot of skills that I've been able to generate from my time away, and work that I've done elsewhere, and be able to bring that back and implement them here in Decorah, and then now hopefully the opportunity to implement them on a statewide level as well.
The New Minowa Players seems like a very close-knit group. I've been impressed with them.
I will always say that it was my home away from home. Immediately, my very first production of Anne of Green Gables was our summer show, and I met so many friends that way. And there's so many things I would never have done in my life if it had not been for participating in that organization. So it's definitely something I owe a lot to. Yeah.
Thank you, Sarah. And as Aaron will attest, I am nice to the people that come out of Luther. Being a Wartburg grad, it's a little difficult, but of course, that's all part of theater.
Fair enough.
Jim Klingman is our third new candidate out of Ottumwa. Jim, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, thank you. I've been with the Ottumwa Community Players for almost 40 years. And when I moved after college, when I moved back to Ottumwa, I really didn't know anybody and just didn't have any way to express myself on stage. I've always been a singer and I enjoy acting. Well, I discovered Ottumwa Community Players. I went to my first audition, and then just from there, just developed a whole new set of friends, like all of you who have been in community theater know how that goes. And I'm still friends with all of those people today. I'm a realtor. I met my wife during a production of Fiddler on the Roof that we were in together. And I could probably name a dozen couples who have gotten together thanks to our community theater.
Aw.
And in fact, I even remember my first show I saw with our group is when I was just a little kid. My parents used to always buy season tickets and would go with a couple other couples. And it was a night out. And I remember they took me to see a production of Paint Your Wagon, and I just never forgot it. I was absolutely starstruck. So kind of rambling on, but through the years, I've served backstage, I've been on stage, I've done just about everything, served as president of our board and in other roles, secretary, whatever. And then went through, when Judy and I had our children still at home, went through the child rearing years, and that's when community theater people drop out because you don't have the time. And long story short, I've participated in Oskaloosa Community Theater. I've been in Iowa City Community Theater. I've been in Cedar Rapids Follies, done a lot of those types of things and really love it. I'm back with the Ottumwa board of Ottumwa Community Players because the group, like many groups, is struggling. And we've just recently come together with a new board, new fresh blood. We've rewritten our bylaws and we're rebranding our whole way of thinking. And I feel like we're really back on the right track. So elected or not, I would like to get involved again with ICTA. It was always an important part of what we did, even back as far as the 80s when we would go, and I just always enjoyed the classes and competitions.
Did you happen to be in Brigadoon a few years ago?
I was there,
Yeah.
but I wasn't on stage, but I helped with it, yes.
The great production, and you have a lovely theater.
It's very nice. Yeah, we're very fortunate that way. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Tammy, if you would like to say a few words, that would be nice. Otherwise, we can ad-lib for you.
I'll move my lips and you do the speaking. How's that?
Oh,
No.
dangerous.
So I'm Tammy Spizzetto. I have been previously affiliated with the Newton Community Theater, the Ankeny Community Theater. I've done shows on several other Central Iowa stages. I have really enjoyed the last 3 years serving with the Iowa Community Theater Association. It's been a little different than I expected with the pandemic challenges that we've had. And I think there were a lot of big things that I really wanted to accomplish these last 3 years that I'm hoping we'll be able to accomplish in the next. So I have great hopes for the next 3 years in the Iowa Community Theater Association.
Thank you, Tammy. And Jason, would you like to say a few words?
Sure thing. Thanks, Gerard. My name is Jason Paul. I live in Ames, Iowa, of course, Iowa, and have been on the ICTA board since Gerard dragged me in kicking and screaming 10 years ago. And while on the board, I've been a key player in the development of our strategic plan and our strategic goals, modernization of our electronic communications portfolio and information management systems, launching our marketing function, and have served the last 3 years as president of the board of directors, including steering this ship through the dark waters of coronavirus. Outside ICTA, my theater work includes technical consulting for emerging theaters, advising on nonprofit governance, web design and maintenance for nonprofits, and most often now I am a lighting designer in the Kate Goldman Children's Theater at the Des Moines Playhouse. When I'm not doing theater things or nonprofit governance, professionally, I am a program and project management consultant for Fortune 50 tech companies on the West Coast.
Thank you, Jason. And although he claims that I dragged him kicking and screaming, he did not kick and scream as much as when I dragged him to India and tried to have him poisoned over there. But all of that is behind us now, and we're off to much bigger and better things. I am now going to continue to open this up. As Jason is a candidate, I will maintain. Are there any nominations from the floor? If there are no nominations, I would like to move that the slate of candidates, 5 for 5 seats, be accepted and moved. I see David. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. And I will call for all that are in agreement. A, please. Or I.
Aye.
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 Any disagree? The slate is moved and the election has been, the seats have been filled. Thank you.
Great. Thank you for that, Gerard. And thank you, everyone. Welcome to our new board members. And again, thank you to those outgoing folks who are moving on to different things in their lives. And now at this point in the meeting, I will open the floor to any business or non-business for the good of the association. Yes, David.
I just want to say publicly that I'm really impressed with Gerard's commitment to ICTA and the ability to, just a few weeks ago, we didn't really have a slate, and yet he brought 5 wonderful candidates to today. And I know, Jason, that you do a lot of work for the board and you get a lot of face time. Gerard, as treasurer and now as a co-chair of this, I just wanted to say thank you, Gerard, for your belief in community theater as reflected in your participation with ICTA. And I just wanted it in the record.
Thank you, David.
And so it shall be. Before we close this evening, I would like anyone who is not a member of the board that is here to know that you are welcome to join our board meetings. They happen on the second Saturday of the second month of each quarter, February, May, August, and November at noon. And that is typically held via Zoom and will likely be held via Zoom for the foreseeable future. If you're interested in attending those, please contact me at president@iowatheaters.org. And for those of you on this call who are board members or newly elected board members, please hang back. We have a very brief board meeting to handle the election of officers. Is there any additional comments, questions, or business from the floor?
I
Yes,
just
Angela.
wanted to say, I misspoke earlier when I said was Louine secretary. I meant that she still do the newsletter, but anyway, she'll probably watch the video. So, and then I wanted to thank everybody because when I've met most of you at like festival or some of the things that we've gotten together, I really appreciate your kindness. So thank you for including me, and have a good rest of the year. It's going to be a good one.
Thank you. Thanks for attending.
You're welcome.
Okay, if there's no more business from the floor, I would entertain a motion to adjourn the annual meeting of the membership of ICTA for 2022.
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second? Give it to Cheryl. All those in favor of adjournment signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? All right, folks, we are adjourned for our annual membership meeting. If board members could stick around, please. And our meetings are open, so anyone else is welcome to stick around as well. We will get started here in about 30 seconds. Let me just stop this recording.